Today I'll be discussing the Old Spice commercial back in 2015, i.e. Old Spice the man can smell like. Now, just for context, the sunglasses are because I have a horrible eye infection, not because I don't want eye contact, but it's actually really bad. So, the dominant function of the language in the text is meant to be very persuasive because it's very direct. Yet, it instills humor by intonating his voice in a very satirical and humorous manner. And he also uses descriptives, language, and visuals as also represented in the text, in the sort of ad, to sort of back that up and add that sense of satire and humor to it, by sort of playing on the sort of stereotypical masculine man role that has been put into our sort of thought process as a generation of young millennials. And one of the things that you can think of that's very interesting in the choice of vocabulary is their inherent always use of you.
That thing you love.
As quoting Isaiah Mustafa. It can be sort of a drawn humor. Any interesting vocabulary items that they said when Isaiah uses the word you a lot in the sort of like text and dialogue. That thing you love. It's very direct to the audience. It's very satirical, and it sort of takes on the play on sort of stereotypical tropes of both a manly man, whilst also playing on the trope of things that women should like. But it also still leaves room for mystery and room for the imagination, which is what makes it a very engaging ad. The presence of the animator in the text. So Isaiah Mustafa was chosen purely because I would argue a very profound sort of, he has a very profound presence and has a very strong, very masculine characteristics. But the way his demeanor throughout the commercial, it's very endearing and relatable. The whole like stereotype thing is played, manly stereotype thing is played out in a way it's humorous yet very relatable, and I think that speaks to the audience on a deeper level. So it features the spoken voice. So yes, the speech flow throughout the ad is very consistent and it's very clear because it's got to be. It's a man and he's present and he's clear voiced and all that. It instills confidence and it helps carry the satire because it's so clear, concise, and robust. Like, hey, I'm John Wayne kind of thing going on. It helps actually carry out the humor and the satire, the dialogue, and it makes the whole thing very, very memorable. And the way the ad is spaced, Isaiah is always placed in the middle of the ad with many like objects that are very obscure or unexpected. This ad has a very dynamic sort of background environment. The only thing that stays consistent is Isaiah Mustafa himself. He sits in the middle, and he's just smack bang there. The environment can change. It can be like your shower, to a yacht, to swan dives, to I'm on a horse. It's profound. It's clear, attention grabbing, something very entertaining, strong eye contact, which I think works very well for the ad because it gives you a sense of a personal connection between the ad and yourself. What assumptions does this text make about our unproblematic convictions and assumptions? It does make that stereotype that, hey, Isaiah Mustafa is the man that we want to be as men. We want to look like that because women, this is another assumption they make, want a man like that. We want to be him, and they want him. So naturally, they will buy the product. And then men will want to buy the product because women want men to buy the product. So the reason this was regarded as a very successful ad is because, because of its reach. It was one of the most successful ad campaigns of all time. The Man You Can Smell Like was so successful. On its very day of its release, it released 2 days before the Super Bowl, because this is a Super Bowl commercial. It was intended to have a $20 million slot. However, it very strategically targeted consumers, its target market, or target consumer, which is very young millennials, right at the weak spot, which is YouTube, and this is 2015, peak YouTube era. So within its first day, it's got that 5.9 million viewer score. Strategic and communicative use of the language. So strategic and communicative uses of the language. This, back to an earlier point, it is very direct, it's very engaging, but again, it's in a way that it is, although confident and present, it's in a way where it's contextualized to be almost non-confrontational, but very attention-grabbing and attention-seeking nonetheless, I would argue, which sort of adds to that sort of humorous manner. Because it grabs your attention because of that confident demeanor it has, and the dialogue that's just being spoken throughout, while having that dynamic environment. It just made for such a funny ad that's so memorable. Social features such as gender, age, and class depicted in the text. So the style of humor is very much aimed at a modern audience, where it takes older schools of thought, such as the man should be like this, and your man can be this. It very much frames it in a way where it's like targeted towards women, yet also indirectly targeting men in a satirical way. So before we conclude this video, one of the things that I would argue makes this ad so successful is that when Procter & Gamble conducted their research, is that they discovered that the vast majority of the purchases were made, or at least men's body wash were made by women. So they actually targeted women, but the way he presented it by using all these humorous tropes and the sort of framing sort of made for it to be very funny and successful and memorable. So much so that it was shared, and the first thing people would think of, or women would think of buying the body wash for, it would be Old Spice. And that's why it worked. That's why it was great. And, you know, that's my edited piece. Thank you for all your time, and sorry you had to cringe throughout this video, and sorry about the glasses again, but I have a horrible eye infection. It's really not great. Thanks.